football this weekend. I'm Chris Broussard along with the beautiful Joy Taylor and the witty LeVar Arrington. We're with you all week. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, then let's get going. Let's start in the NFL. Dak sat out the Hall of Fame game, but he's doing light throwing at training camp. Mike McCarthy seems to feel good about how things are going. He says he likes where the Cowboys are at so far. So, LeVar, how should Dallas fans feel a month before the season starts in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I know you're going to give me a whole bunch of blues for this, Chris Broussard. I mean, think about it. You should be excited if you're a Cowboys fan. This is probably, outside of Dak dealing with the fatigue injury of his shoulder, this seems to be the most well-balanced, health-wise and skill-wise roster that they've had in quite some time. So I would be bullish if I'm a Dallas fan. The offensive line looked pretty good. Wasn't very many snaps in the Hall of Fame game, to be expected, but they looked better on defense. My baby Michael Parsons got a turnover. You saw it take place. You heard what it was. You know what it is, Chris Broussard. Yeah, listen, I'm not a hype man for Dallas, but if I am a Dallas fan, Joy, I got to tell you, I'm super bullish about it, and I'm super excited about the potential and the possibilities of what they could possibly be.
I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you should be extremely nervous right now because while everything else that you said is true, nothing's going to happen this season without Dak Prescott. Their quarterback situation without Dak Prescott is Cooper Rush, Garrett Gilbert, Ben DiNucci. Do any of those names strike fear in the heart of any team around the NFL, let alone the rest of the NFC East? This injury is concerning. Now, Dak isn't really an injury-prone player outside of this ankle injury. He's very reliable and available. But as you guys know, often when you have injuries, you compensate by working other parts of your body, and your body's not really aligned. Sometimes you come back and tweak something else. And I think that that's probably what played a role in this injury situation. But look, the Dallas Cowboys run through Dak Prescott. If they don't have Dak out there, this season is a wash. Like, there's too competitive around that division right now. There's too much on the line for the other teams in the division. You have Washington's defense. The Giants are going to come back healthier, eventually going to get Saquon back. Like, this is, we're not going to talk about the Eagles, but this is a concerning situation if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I love the rest of the roster. I love the momentum going into the season with everything else except for Dak's injury. You should be concerned about Dak's injury because if Dak is not able to be out there for any other reason, their quarterback situation is a disaster.
Oh, well, there's no doubt, Joy. I mean, if Dak Prescott, if this injury is serious, yeah, they're in big-time trouble. But I'm not thinking it's too serious. Obviously, they want to get it taken care of and not let it linger all year, right? So I think they're being cautious about that. But he seems okay. And, yeah, I'm going to assume that Dak is fine. If that's the case, then, yeah, the only thing I disagree with LeVar saying was when he said he's not the Cowboys hype man, because he tempered it a little, America, believe me. He loves the Dallas Cowboys offense, defense, the whole 9 yards, but I like them too. And if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm thinking this is finally the year that we come close to living up to the hype. All right, they're always overhyped going into the season. I'm not predicting Super Bowl. They're not one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. However, they should have every reason to believe, assuming Dak's healthy, that they're going to have a very good season. One, they should win the NFC least. All right, it's still, in my view, the weakest division in the league. Dak Prescott is by far the best quarterback in that division. I get it that Washington has the great defense, but Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to start falling off in about week 4. Trust me. All right, we'll get excited about them after a few nice games, and then Fitzpatrick will come back to earth. Taylor Heineke, is that the answer? The Giants are better than people expect, but Danny Dimes turns that thing over a little too much, and Jalen Hurts, we'll see what he does. But Dallas should win the division. Their schedule is light. All right, they've only got 5 teams with winning records. That's the worst schedule or easiest schedule in the NFL in that regard. 12 of the 17 teams they faced had losing records last season. I know they opened up tough with Tampa, but after the second week, it starts lightening up. You see, they got the Chargers, and then after that, it's a lot lighter. So I do think Dallas should win this division, and they got to be thinking, we're going to at least win a game in the playoffs. That should be the floor. Division title, one game won in the playoffs, and then anything after that is gravy. LeVar?
Yeah, listen, I don't want to get I don't want the conversation to get too carried away. Let's dial it back just a little. And I'm not going to dial it back a little based off of his shoulder. I'm just not. I don't think that it's just based off of everything reported. I'm not looking at it as a serious injury as well. Would I be concerned because he is dealing with an injury already? Yes, but those things happen all the time. I mean, this is not a bubble wrap game. It's full contact sport. Guys get banged up. Like, you're not supposed to be 100%. So, but I will say this. When you think about what we're talking about in terms of the potential of what the Dallas Cowboys will be, you still have to be thinking Dallas needs to show me that they're the team that people may prognosticate them to be. As much talent as they have had in the past, they still have underachieved. This is still Dallas, the underachieving Dallas Cowboys. So to me, with all of the talent, I think that there has now come a point where it's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, for this team. I think Mike McCarthy will be a better coach this year. I give them credit there. I think Dan Quinn being an addition to the team, I give them credit there. I think there's a lot of things to give credit for, and they, of course, drafted a linebacker from Linebacker U that's going to help transform that defense. And Joy, you know, having a good defensive end and a linebacker on the same team can make a tremendous difference in the success of an entire team. So I would be bullish on them, but let's not get carried away. They still need to do some showing and proving in the big state of Dallas, Texas. You know what I mean? Big Texas.
I'm excited about Micah, too, and I like that you hedged your bet there, LeVar. You don't want to end up on Old Takes Exposed being all excited about the Cowboys. I agree with you, Chris. I think that they should win the division this year. I think they are much improved for all the reasons that LeVar just listed. And I'm optimistic about the Cowboys as a whole this year as well. But I disagree that this situation with Dak isn't concerning, because here's the thing. Even if he is ready for week 1, which is exactly 31 days away, this is a longer season now. We have an extra game. And as we've seen throughout the league, especially over last year, having a solid backup quarterback has kept many teams in the hunt and throughout the playoffs, because this is a long season, a collision sport, as you just mentioned. Dak is coming off of a major injury and now has tweaked something else in training camp. Going into the season not healthy isn't a good thing. I love Dak. I'm happy he got paid. I'm looking forward to seeing him this season, and I think he's going to have a good season. But them not having a backup for him, a viable backup for him, should be concerning. The team runs through Dak Prescott. We've seen what they are when Dak Prescott's not out there. We know what the Cowboys are when their starting quarterback isn't out there. It's a disaster. The Cowboys are always talented. They always have stars. It's the star. It's Dallas. So I think overall, there's a lot of things to be excited about. I agree with you, Chris. They should win the division and should win a playoff game, and then we'll see what happens from there. I know that the aspirations are always obviously championships, but they haven't done that in a very long time. So we do need to be realistic. I am concerned about the Dak Prescott situation.
Well, Joy, I think the health of that offensive line, too, is critical. You know,
yes.
they've got to be able to, one, protect Dak, obviously, and two, open up some holes for Ezekiel Elliott. Now, we keep hearing that Zeke is in shape. He looks great. You know, the reports from training camp is that he has his burst that he had his first few years in the league. So that'll be huge, because as much as I like Dak, and I've been a fan of his since he started. I think he's got all the intangibles. He checks all those boxes, winner, leader, etc. But he's got to be healthy, and he needs a running game. All right, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Pat Mahomes. I don't know that